On set, action.
There it is. The check.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh. It's cool.
Take
It's
two.
cool.
Really? Take two.
Take two.
You can't stop when
Action.
he's like 10 minutes in.
No, wait. You talk too soon. I'm sorry. Action. Wait. Count 3 seconds in your mind,
And
then
then you
start.
start.
So you'll have some.
He'll point at you when you're ready.
There it is. The check engine light on your car. It might have come on while you were driving. It might have come on when you turned the car on and you started it. It's okay to be a little bit nervous. Changing the oil is a little bit messy. Sometimes it can cost a lot of money. And I can't tell you that it's not going to be a mess. And I can't tell you your car might not explode when you do it. But what I can do is I can show you how to do it with your own 2 hands. So most of the tools that you need for the project, you can buy at your own auto parts store. What you're going to need is, obviously safety is important. You're going to need a funnel. You're going to need an oil catch pan. Those things are used so that you don't make a mess when you pour your oil out. You're going to probably need some gloves and some rags. That's just for basic cleanup. The oil has some chemicals in it, might get in your hands. You also need some rags just to clean up messes and stuff like that. The second part is that you do have to get your car off the ground. The whole process of changing the oil is done underneath the car, meaning that the car can't be on the ground when you do it. You have 2 options in this. You can either use a ramp to get the car in the air or jacks. Both of those are personal preference. They'll both get the job done. What you can't skimp on is jack stands. Even if you get the car off the ground, you need it to be supported by more than what you have lifted in the air. I'd recommend 2 because you have to have 2 on either side of the wheels. As far as non-reusable materials, you're going to get yourself an oil filter and some oil. The type of oil I have here is 10W20. Most cars can use 10W30. That works for most situations, but your car manual or the auto parts store technician can probably tell you what type of oil you're going to need for your car. The rest of the materials I listed can be used for other projects, so feel free to get a more expensive version if you feel like it. When you're getting underneath the car, most of the sections are actually really easily accessed. The oil cap and the oil fill line are going to be on top of your engine, and the dipstick is going to be somewhere next to it. The dipstick will come in later when you pull it out to check the oil level after you've refilled it. When you're getting the car in the air, it's important to remember that you're going to have to find the jack points underneath the car. You can't put the jack underneath any portion of the car you feel. There are some portions that aren't strong enough to lift the weight of the car. You can consult a manual, or again, the auto parts technician can probably give you a diagram of where you're going to want to put it on, where you're going to want to put the jacks underneath your car. So, once you're underneath the car, you're going to be looking for the oil pan plug, and if you want to change it, the oil filter. Now the oil pan is going to be a big rectangular box sitting directly underneath the car in between the 2 wheels. The oil plug is just a small hole that's going to sit on the side of it. The only thing that you might have to worry about is that there's also a transmission pan underneath it. Transmission pan is smaller. It's going to be set back next to the actual transmission housing. Just don't confuse the 2. You don't want oil in your transmission. Well, now that I've explained the parts that you're going to find and the pieces of the car you're going to do, I'll tell you how to get it done. The first step is you're going to want to find a well-ventilated and open area to change your car. This can be a garage. Just make sure, like I said, that there's ventilation, because the fumes and stuff that you're going to encounter, you don't want them sitting around. You can start by either driving the car up the ramps if you chose to do that. If you didn't choose to do that, the jacks will come in later. If you get the car up on the ramps, you're going to want to pull the parking brake once you're up there. Because even though the car is on the ramps or the car is in the air by the jacks, you don't want it rolling around under there because you're going to be crawling under it. So, once you've gotten the car in the air by either the ramps or lifted it by the jack, you're going to want to place the jack stands underneath it. The diagram that you would have looked up to find where to put the jack itself is also useful to find a place to put the jack stands. Because again, you can't put those stands under a piece of the car that's going to fold or bend while it's up there. You're going to want to make sure that you turn the car on and let it start for a few minutes so that the oil gets warm and starts to circulate through the engine. Once you've got it up on your ramps or up on your jack, you can turn it off and let it cool for a few minutes so that way it's not hot when you start getting it out and underneath it. What you start with is you can remove the oil cap from the top of your engine. You take that off so that when you remove the bottom part, there's airflow and all the oil drains out of it. If you don't take the cap off the top, it'll drain really slowly, just makes the process longer. Since you have it secured on top of your jacks, you can go underneath the car and you can locate the drain plug, like I said, which is going to be next to the oil pan, and you can get your tools ready. Once you remove the plug, the oil should start draining. Sometimes it can come out fast, sometimes it can come out slow. It depends on how thick your oil is and how long it was since the last time that you changed it. Once you get it out of the way, just move your hand, hold onto the drain plug, and since you probably have your gloves and your rags, you won't have to worry about a mess. If you decide to change your filter, once you've drained all the oil, you can crawl underneath and locate the filter. It's not going to be next to the oil pan or the plug. A lot of cars have it in a different place. Once you get your filter, you want to take the new oil that you have, dip your finger on it, and rub it around what's called the gasket, which is the black line inside your filter. That's going to lubricate it and make sure you have a good seal. Go ahead, get under it, twist it back on, and you should be good to go. Now you can climb back out of the car and you add the oil back onto the top. Use the funnel that you used to drain it into it so you don't make a mess. And while it's still filling back in there, check the area around you for your tools that you might lose. You don't want to lose any down there, you don't want to leave them on the ground. You can also start to clean up using the rags that you have. While it's not entirely necessary, sometimes if you have oil that pours onto parts of the car, the engine is hot, and when you turn it back on, all that oil is going to smoke and steam, going to create a lot of fumes, and that's kind of nasty. Nobody wants that. Once you've reattached the gas cap, or reattached the oil cap and removed all your stuff, you can turn the car back on, only for about a minute or so. Like we did the first time, it's going to let the oil circulate throughout the car, and then when we turn the car off, we'll be able to check the level of it. Once you turn it off, again, wait a few minutes for it to cool down, because you're going to be reaching back in the engine, you don't want to touch that. The dipstick, which was located next to our oil fill spot, is going to be a small metal wire that goes into a tube in your engine. You pull that out, wipe it off, stick it back in, and then when you pull it out the second time, you'll be able to see how much oil is sitting in the bottom of the engine. As long as that's filled up, you're good to go. Since you're done changing the oil and your car is clean, now the only last thing to do is get rid of the oil that you use in the catch pan. All the old oil that's sitting in your catch pan cannot be just dumped out anywhere you want to. Normally, an auto parts store has an easily accessible disposal station. You can use one for the filters, one for the old oil. A lot of the times when they go, when they wash the filters and they clean them, you can actually reuse an old filter. The old oil also goes through a purification process, but again, they have to cart it off to a special place so that it's not just dumped into the environment. Now that I've talked to you about the tools that you needed, the parts of the car that you encounter, and the oil change process itself, hopefully now you won't be so afraid the next time you try to change your oil. That's it.